Thanks for having me, Steve.
Yeah, I understand that some money is going to be involved with some federal funding to battle the opioid crisis. Let's spend some time on that, please.
Yes, sir. So the delegation and I, so that means all the congressional people, senators, and Congress folks from Indiana, we were able to get a $28 million federal funding grant for the state. It's a 2-year opioid response grant to help fight the opioid crisis. And, I'd like to, we had this problem before COVID, but it's gotten worse, Steve. That's what has been reported to me by county health officials as well as hospital CEOs, as people have been economically impacted and then, shut in, if you will. There has been more mental health / substance abuse problems. So we're real happy that we were able to get some additional funds for the state to help fight this.
Speaking of funds, Congressman Pence, Interstate 70 and an infrastructure bill is also, some good news coming in ways of monies from the federal government there, too.
Yeah, thanks, Steve. I'm on the Infrastructure Transportation Committee in Congress, in the House, and, we're adding a third lane to our interstates is something that, I keep pushing and have since I got elected. This is a grant that includes a third lane out down there in Hancock County, south of Greenfield on I-70. We can add a third lane for a number of miles each way from that interchange. And I'll keep fighting for more dollars. We're the crossroads of America, and having the best interstate system as crossroads is something I'll keep focused on. So I'm real happy we got additional $22 million here for the state.
Just clicking around the social media, or as I call it, Congressman, the anti-social media. That's a phrase that I coin. You can use that if you want, if you'd like to bring that up.
I will. I just stole it from you.
Saw some pictures recently, not only from you, but just some other like C-SPAN sort of stuff. There's not a lot of people in the room when we're having these meetings. You've talked about this before, but you think in person is kind of something that Congress should be doing.
I was there last week. I went to it was actually a railroad infrastructure hearing, and the last time I was there, I posted a picture, and there were actually 4 people in there. You could only see me sitting there, but last Wednesday, it was me sitting there all by myself while everybody else zoomed it in, and everybody else showing up for work. You showed up for work this whole time.
Mm-hmm.
You've continued to provide the service that your station provides in keeping the community informed. And so I think that's my job to go out to Washington, D.C. And represent the people of the Indiana 6th District. By the way, I'm out here right now, Steve. I came out last night. We will be in session for the next 3 weeks. Come back Thursday and have some things. I'll be out in the district Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. But we've got a number of bills we're going to consider. I'm sorry to report to you that none of them have to do with additional support to fight the COVID or the economic pandemic that we have experienced in the last 6 months.
Everybody's talking about that. I mean, what do we have to do to get some ball rolling for that, Congressman?
Yeah, I'm my glass is half full, Steve. So I want to say, people said, "Oh, it's dead until the election." Well, I'm not. I'm a little more optimistic. It's one of the provisions in the thing that was discussed last week in the Senate was the liability protection, and I'm like a broken record, but that liability protection for COVID protection, it's states need it, cities need it, hospitals need it, counties need it, schools need it, non-for-profits need it, and businesses need it. And we need to find some relief for those businesses and industries that just can't make it in the shutdown period here. We've got a lot more people unemployed than we had before. Thank God we live in Indiana, but unfortunately there's other states that they've just run out of money for unemployment. I think we need to do the right thing. So I'm optimistic that for the next 3 weeks that maybe something can show up, something can get done in that respect.
This is Greg Pence, 6th District Congressman, our guest this week in Delaware County. You said that you're speaking to us from D.C. right now. You'll be there for several days, but you also said you're going to come back to the district. You've told me before you find that very valuable to be face-to-face with constituents.
Yeah, Steve, thanks. I live in Columbus, Indiana. I live in I like to say southern Indiana, eastern and southeastern Indiana. So that's my home. I come home. I have not come home twice during in the last 2 years, and I'll just always come home and be with my peeps, as they say. It's not just valuable. It's necessary. It's the right thing to do. And, I out in the swamp here, you wouldn't believe it. It is totally shut down out here. There are, of course, the government is not really working. They're all at home, zooming it in, which the White House and the administration, my brother, he certainly shows up for work every day. But these bureaucrats and the swamp people out here, they're just not going to work. And so I like to go back home where we know how to behave, we know how to mask up and social distance.
I have a lot of friends and people around our listening area that are in law enforcement and around law enforcement and public safety. And there's a lot of talk about, funding or defunding police. You signed a pledge recently, didn't you, Congressman?
I did, Steve. It's called the Police Pledge, and I'll just read you the last line of it. But I stand with American police and pledge to oppose any bill, resolution, or movement to defund the police. Steve, I've talked on the House floor. I sponsored a Justice Act. Everything I've done has been to remember that 99% of law enforcement are good, decent folks. There's this maybe some folks that need a little more training or need to be doing something else. But I am 100% supportive of law enforcement. I'm not one that's going to be defunding or criticizing the job that they do every day.
If anybody needs information within the 6th District, you are always available, you and your staff. How to get in contact with you, Congressman?
We are, Steve. Pence.house.gov for any federal needs that you have, or we can direct you anywhere you need to get some help with any government organization. Just get on Pence.house.gov, and there's phone numbers, office addresses, and emails, and we're happy to help. That's what we're here for, constituent services.
All right. Greg Pence, Congressman, thank you for the time. Safe travels to you, sir.